I was trying to think of a creative way to start off this video. Pure and simple. I'm Eric Emanuel, and I'm going to talk about the greatest YouTubers I've worked with. I've been doing YouTube over 10 years. I've got to collab and work with a lot of people. I've got to make a lot of content. And you're probably wondering who are some of the best people I've ever worked with. I know it's one of the popular things to do where YouTubers break down who they've worked with, what they've done, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So, for those who don't know, I'm Eric Emanuel, formerly known on the internet as Tubby Emu. You may have not seen me in a long time. Yeah, I do weigh under 185 pounds now. Damn, 315 pounds lost. It's pretty crazy to think about from our biggest. Now, at our biggest, I've got to work with some of the best creators of all time. Going back to 2011 and 2012, I've got to work with names like Smalls99, CM Pulse, Blinkfro. There's a lot of names we got to go through. Ghost Robo. It be man, rest in peace, Gabe. I've got to work with the likes of Chris Danger. I've got to work with the likes of CM Pulse. I've got to work with the likes of Mr. Hurricane. I've got to work with... First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Hurricane. For those that don't know, we actually went to a casino once and he did thug dumping. I'm not going to edit in any videos because I want the channel if you go find it. But there was a video I did with Mr. Hurricane, who's a sports YouTuber. It's called Thug Dumping. We went to a casino and we made a music video and he literally was cashing toilets and it was pretty great. I've got to work with the likes of Grimm's Toy Show. I've got to work with the likes of, Macho T. I've got to work with, very limitedly, John Blood and the guys from New Legacy, which, I'll be honest with you, I honestly think my content style never fit with New Legacy. That's why I didn't try to work with them. Johnny and them just do stuff way cooler than I am. I'm a nerd. I don't fit in with them. So I'll tell you right off the bat, I don't think I've ever actually worked with New Legacy other than a stream where for 4+ hours we pissed them off. As we go through all the YouTubers I actually work with, there's one thing to keep in mind. Because of the fact that I used to be successful and run my own channel and grind for me, when it came to working with other people, a lot of the times when I started working with other people is because it was a necessity. I had to. It wasn't just collabing because I wanted to. It was because I needed to, which created ultimate pressures. Time deadlines and things taking too long. Kind of like working with Chris Danger and making the storyline with, I pitched the campaign because a rule of me, if you don't know me, when I pitch working with YouTubers, if you are making money, I don't want a percentage of the money you're already making. I've always pitched people I want a cut of the money I'm going to bring you. So if I pitch a YouTuber like Chris and Michelle, hey, I got this series idea. We can get it sponsored. How about you give me a cut and you profit? It worked. And then I went over budget and deadline and it took too long. And they were more than accommodating, and I apologize for that. Working with guys like Grimm's Toy Show, who, to be honest with you, I've done so many crazy pitches for, I can completely get why you would shut down. But the actual working with Grimm was flying out at my biggest and working with Grimm's Toy Show, which killed my channel. And you might be wondering, how did it kill your channel, Eric? Well, when you're a YouTuber, when you upload a video, when that video goes live, in the first minute, 10 minutes, hour, how many ever people click on it? And then the amount of time they watch the video dictates whether or not YouTube will push it out to more people. So when you get flooded with 100, 500, 1,000 people clicking that video going, Tubby's fat, go die, and then they click off the video, YouTube sees that in the search engine and goes, ooh, we should not send this video to anybody else, and then it kills your channel. So that's what happened. But then Grimm redeemed himself and let me work with him in 2018 when he was too R-rated. For those that don't know, Grimm's Toy Show was F this and F that and said bad words, and 2K was like, and I'm like, let me work with him. So I did. I brought Grimm's to Florida. I got a film with him, and Shinsuke Nakamura told him to put down the fork. And look at Grimm now. Damn, Grimm's making big moves. So I give big thumbs up to Grimm. Grimm is the one guy I still wish I could film a lot more for and make actual documentaries and a movie. If you've seen the documentary on Boogie to 988, which came out, I've always wanted to do something similar for Dave, because going back to his ex-wife and everything and his hurt and him wanting to entertain people, I think there's a story there. Kid behind the camera. Kid behind the camera, I've not actually got to make content with because I've never wanted to be a part of his channel because he's bigger than I am. He's he's somebody that just goes for it. I've respected him since the day one, and I still remember when he flew me out to SummerSlam. He didn't fly me out. I was out there for 2K. But he took us out to lunch after NXT. And I remember I was so worried about money, and he takes us in a black SUV, an Uber. And not only that, he brings us out and he tells the driver, wait here. You can wait while we go eat. I'll cover you. Do you want food? Not only does he overtip him, he go gets cash. He tips him even more. He gives him food. He just takes care of people, and that's what Kid Behind the Camera was. Again, a guy that I would love to work with and still want to, but another guy I procrastinated with, and by the time I worked with him is because I had to, not because I just wanted to, because Michael is so creative and he scratches my itch when it comes to writing. I just haven't followed through and wrote with him. So, Kid Behind the Camera, high on the list, great guy, but for me, I fall short when it comes to working with him. Guys like CM Pulse. SAFW is still one of the greatest things I've ever done because creatively, for me, it was fantastic. SAFW was just this series in a video game where I got to go through and book, and basically, it was my mind. It was my brainchild, but I let Pulse sell it on air, and I had to do the reverse psychology of, no, we don't want that match, and just watching that card week after week build and watch the pay-per-view finale and how that entire script played out. Still to this day, one of the best things I've ever done because I was Booker of the Year that year. Let's be honest. SAFW, Big Bear, Naruto. I know how to book a show. I'm pretty cocky and confident. Other people that I've worked with. Tony Pizza Guy. Going back to day one, Tony Pizza Guy is a ride or die. Tony Pizza Guy was somebody that I grinded with in the trenches and made videos until late hours of the night. Somebody that worked at Stanley Steamer that busted his ass. And that's the thing you don't understand about Tony. Tony never got the recognition and credit Tony deserves. Tony deserved to be one of those bigger YouTubers, but there was something that kept Tony back. And I don't know what it was. But you know what? It kept him back, and now he's got the love of his life. He's got kids. He's got the life that I think maybe I wanted. I don't know. We'll see. But Tony, always a fantastic pleasure to work with. Macho T, man, that dude grinds and hustles. He was essentially Tubby Emu 2011, 2012. Anybody that brings a laptop to an event and doesn't even go into the show because he has to go upload content for you guys, he's a grinder, and Macho T is always going to be a real one. Everybody from Vibe. Listen, Brandon came in, stepped in the void, hustled. Brandon, just a fantastic dude. Simply Better, Phoenix, all those guys. A shout out to filling a void that, like, literally that kind of team atmosphere and the collabs are what I've always envisioned, and the fact that every year we tried to at events, it just fell apart. You have Luge. Man, Luge was just fantastic. Luge was just herself. She just loved wrestling. I still remember when I thought, like, for some reason, I'm not even going to say that story. I still remember at the Supercard event, if anybody gets flown out by 2K and you're wondering, why do we have to pay for our own stuff? Probably because me, Tony, Luge got flown out to a Supercard event in Kirkland, Washington, and they put a card on file, and we all ate really expensive room service and had a great time. So some of my favorite people to work with. Ghost Robo, to this day, is still the person that I had the most belief in, because as a producer, I was so grateful I got to produce him and work with him and work on changing his mindset for somebody that got in his head so much. To me, is still my greatest collab. Unfortunately, always having to work with him in a business sense, I never actually got to do more. And then, unfortunately, when Gabe passed away, it's just not the same. You definitely saw how I wish I could have been more of a friend than a producer. But there's been so many people I've got to work with, and I'm grateful. But what I'm not grateful for is the amount of opportunities and connections I've had that I've not followed through on myself. So I say all these names, and then I start to wonder, who do I want to work with going forward? Well, somebody I haven't even said yet. Ango. There are people I believe in, Sean's view, that haven't got opportunities or are still busting and grinding their ass off. And those are the people I still want to work with. Tango with Ango. It's crazy to think about. Who are some of your favorite collabs? If you remember me working with anybody, I'd love for you to let me know in the comment section below. Those are just some of the names I can remember off the top of my head. I've got to work with a lot of people. I've got to work with a lot of companies. But I'd love to know what you guys think, what you remember. Maybe you remember streams. Maybe you remember videos or series ideas. Let me know in the comment section below. And as we go down this memory lane and as I rebuild the content, I get ready for the future, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for going down memory lane with me. And thanks for some reason supporting me for as long as you have. Until next time, we will see. Oh, by the way, Double E signing out. And you're going to enunciate that E. Emmanuel signing out.